I was teaching holistic sexuality work and working with men and women around merging and rectifying the schism between the masculine and the feminine, men and women, sexuality and spirituality. I had a really big breakthrough in my career. Most of my life, I was rejected and ridiculed, and I was ostracized and bullied and teased as a kid. I felt validated. I did it. This is it. And then 3 or 4 months later, I couldn't afford renting a room anymore. Not even a place, just a room in a friend's house. And then I was homeless. And so I was living out of my car. That happened twice. This was very confusing for me because here I was, after having a software company, I coded a physics and particle effects engine to create special effects. I did that at 18, 19 years old. I know I'm smart enough. I've been published here. I've had a few clients. I've learned a lot of these spiritual secrets and teachings of the universe and personal development, psychology, neurolinguistic programming. Yet why was it that I couldn't even afford rent? How could it be that after all of that, I was struggling so much? I was homeless twice, sleeping in my car in Los Angeles. I remember this, Cafe Gratitude, and getting their community meal for the homeless, which was like $4 or $5 instead of 10 or 12. I would shower at Santa Monica beaches. I was really struggling with my ego because here it was, all right, you got published, you're really smart, you know this stuff, you had a software company, and now you can't even get an appointment for a job at Whole Foods as a cashier or waiting tables. You're in your late 20s. What have you been doing for the past 7 years? You have no job experience. I was running a software company. They're like, what? You're either way overqualified in that realm or underqualified because you've never bussed tables or anything like this before. I really struggled with even getting a job, getting clients. It's really hard to sell somebody your coaching services when you're homeless. But I was that delusional, and I'm going to be the first to admit it. And it was why I was suffering. I realized I was trying to fill my cup up by being of service. And that was so backwards. Because later in my life, I realized that to be of true service, my cup had to be full and overflowing. I have a video of when I'm sleeping in my car. I just left the Salvation Army to buy a new sweater because my current one, as I show in the video, had holes in it. It was literally threads falling apart. I went in there to get a used sweater for $13. And not just one, but both of my debit cards were declined. It was humiliating. I didn't have $13 to buy a used sweater to replace the one that was literally falling apart. Now, I'm not a victim to this. These were the results of my choices, and I own that. However, it still sucked. It still was hard. It still was fairly rock bottom. I could have gone a few steps further, maybe being on drugs or literally on the streets, but I wasn't because I was into health. I was literally buying like gluten-free bread and organic almond butter. Even when I was homeless, I still managed to eat healthy. So when people say, oh, I can't afford it, I'm like, you have no idea. I was going through this whole experience and it was very humiliating. It just wasn't working. There was also New Age, a spiritual community. It was really amazing to be in a group of like-minded people that all got it. However, and this may be hard for some people to hear because I know some of the people listening are probably these people, and I was one of these people too, that the same Hollywood narcissism actually showed up in these communities. All these people seem to be really into themselves, thinking they're gods and goddesses incarnate on earth, women wanting to be worshipped everywhere they went. I was like, wait a minute, like there's something off with this. They're onto something, but they're off of something. I realized a lot of people, including myself, were caught up in a fantasy. But the problem with fantasies is they're not real. When you're operating your life and business from a fantasy, it's really hard to go from something that's unreal to manifesting things that are real in time and space in the physical world. That was one of the biggest things. I knew all of this stuff up here. I was living in this fantasy in my mind that, oh, look how great I am. Look at all I know. I know these spiritual truths. I know business. But then I looked at my bank account. I looked at the people around me, which were very few. I looked at my home, which was my car, and I'm like, something's off. I'm lying to myself. Something here isn't working. Eventually, that led me to the work that I'm doing now. I knew all of this stuff up here in my head, in my mind, but it wasn't in my body. I knew it up here, but the embodied wisdom, and when I say embodied, I literally mean the way that my hands moved, the way that my elbows were, the way that I walked through the world literally did not match the image I had of myself in my mind. When I saw my own body moving in these ways, I was face to face with all of my shadow material. That was the start of my transformation.